Alright, so I've made 2 videos about category fraud in the supporting acting categories. Now it's time to talk about category fraud in lead. Hi, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender, and you know how much I love to talk about category fraud. I have not talked about it when it comes to lead actor and lead actress, and there are some very fun ones to explore here. Now, I'm not going to talk about like Olivia Colman in The Favorites. There's nobody here that's only in like 40 minutes of their movie or 50 minutes. No, I am exploring the biggest offenders in category fraud in lead. All of these people I'm talking about were nominated for or won Oscars in lead actor or lead actress for about 20 minutes of screen time. Let's start with the big one at number 10, Best Actor Anthony Hopkins, The Silence of the Lambs.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
So as I'll talk about in this video, category fraud in lead doesn't bug me as much as category fraud in supporting because it's much harder to get an Oscar nomination in lead actor or lead actress for a shorter performance. It's incredibly difficult to win. Like, think about it. If you are in about 20 minutes of the movie and you're nominated in Best Actor, there's going to be so much more screen time for the other 4 nominees, like more for them to do in the movie. And so honestly, it fills my heart with joy that the great Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor for his iconic performance as Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, regardless of the fact that he's only in about 24 minutes of the movie. I've said it before, I'll say it again, even though Hannibal Lecter isn't in a ton of that narrative, you are always thinking about him when he's absent. You're wondering what he's got cooking up in that jail cell. This is a prime example of a performance where not a single minute of his screen time is wasted. Everything Hopkins does in The Silence of the Lambs is perfection, and so sure, he could have won the Oscar in Best Supporting Actor. He won some critics' prizes that season in supporting, but I just kind of love that he got into lead and won over some powerhouse performances by Warren Beatty in Bugsy and Nick Nolte in The Prince of Tides. Like, Hopkins pulled it off. Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs only appears in 21% of the movie, which remains to this day the shortest percentage of screen time in a movie for a Best Actor Oscar win. Number 9, Best Actor David Niven, Separate Tables.
Yes, I'm sorry to have kept your pride and joy out in the cold, Mrs. R.B. The fact is, I got on to the old days. That's the trouble with us old retired war horses, what?
Now here at number 9 is the shortest performance to ever win the Best Actor Oscar trophy. David Niven in the 1958 drama Separate Tables just barely beat out Anthony Hopkins for appearing in about 23.5 minutes of this film and winning Best Actor. Quite the accomplishment for such a short running time. I mean, it's one thing to get in for a nomination, it's another to win when you're barely in the movie. And as you'll see in this video, category fraud in lead was much more common in the early decades of the Oscars, not so much today. Like, we see it happen here and there, but not so much these days. Back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, category fraud in the lead acting categories happened quite often, and here is one of the most egregious examples. Something else interesting about his win in early 1959 is that David Niven was a co-host of the Oscar ceremony that year, so this is the only time in Academy Awards history one of the hosts of the ceremony won an Oscar that same night. Number 8, Best Actress Patricia Neil, HUD.
It's a gambler. He's probably up at Vegas Arena right now, dealing at night.
Alright, so now we get to the shortest performance that ever won Best Actress. Patricia Neil in the contemporary western HUD from 1963, starring Paul Newman. Playing a housekeeper named Alma, Neil is in about 21.5 minutes of this film, 19% of the running time. We get this actress in HUD. You would think that would have gone in Best Supporting Actress, but Patricia Neil was enough of a name in the early 60s, and her moments in HUD have enough emotional weight, like she's very memorable in that film, that she got into lead actress, not supporting, and then she won, which is pretty remarkable. HUD did very well at the Oscars that year. It also got into Best Director and Best Actor. It won Best Supporting Actor for Melvin Douglas. So they really dug this one, and so Patricia Neil got to make the history books. Number 7, Best Actress, Geraldine Page, Interiors.
Can't be alone.
Eve.
I don't want to discuss the details just now.
To be honest, this one kind of surprised me. I love Interiors. It's one of my favorite Woody Allen movies. It was his very first drama, and Geraldine Page as the mother is so emotionally devastating in this film. It is maybe my favorite Geraldine Page performance, and that's saying something. She is incredible in this movie, and I wouldn't have necessarily assumed she only had about 20 minutes of screen time, but it's true. In 1978's Interiors, Geraldine Page only appears in 20 minutes of that movie, about 22% of the running time. That is pretty short, I would say, for a Best Actress nomination instead of Best Supporting Actress, but boy, does she make the most of every moment. That scene in the church, that final scene when she's walking down the beach. She has so many amazing acting moments in that film. And again, it surprises me it's only 20 minutes of screen time. Number 6, Best Actor, Trevor Howard, Sons and Lovers.
Why do you think he's gallivanting round this minute with a Nottingham tart? He's never had the chance to go courting with an ordinary decent girl. You put a stop to anything like that, you with your pride and your jealousy.
Now here is a very much acclaimed 1960 British drama that did well at the Oscars. It only won cinematography black and white, but it got into Best Picture, Best Director, Supporting Actress, Screenplay. Like, the Academy clearly loved this movie, and they gave Trevor Howard a Best Actor Oscar nomination, even though he only appears in 20 minutes of the overall movie, 20% of the running time. It's a big ensemble cast. Howard plays a drunken miner. He got plenty of very enthusiastic reviews. He was a very famous and accomplished actor who had appeared in such films as Brief Encounter and The Third Man, and this was his one Oscar nomination. I guess the Academy thought he was too good for supporting actor because they put him in lead actor. Number 5, Best Actress, Elanor Parker, Detective Story.
Paid me a lot of attention. I was flattered. I thought he was romantic and glamorous. I thought I was in love with him.
So here we have the shortest running time ever for a Best Actress nominee. Elanor Parker in the 1951 crime drama Detective Story appears in the film for 20.1 minutes. Just a very little touch over 20 minutes of screen time. She's in about 19% of the overall movie, and she gets a Best Actress nomination. Now, in this movie starring Kirk Douglas, Elanor Parker has her biggest moments toward the end. Like, she packs an emotional wallop on the audience in the third act, and so people walking out of the movie are thinking about her performance, and so maybe that's why she gets into Best Actress and not Supporting Actress. Also, the great Lee Grant gets her first Oscar nomination for Detective Story in Best Supporting Actress. So maybe the studio was promoting Parker in lead and Grant in supporting. They probably didn't want a vote split to happen between them, but still, 20 minutes of screen time, that is definitely, I would say, category fraud. Number 4, Best Actor, Walter Huston, The Devil and Daniel Webster.
Am I not still spoken of in every church in New England? It's true, the North claims him for a Southerner and the South for a Northerner, but I'm neither.
Now here we have a 1941 supernatural drama that's probably most famous when it comes to the Oscars for it being the only time the composer Bernard Herrmann won an Academy Award. Like, he was nominated the same year for Citizen Kane, and they gave him the Oscar instead for The Devil and Daniel Webster. Like, really? They couldn't give him an Oscar for Vertigo, or for Psycho, or for Taxi Driver? He wins for this? Okay. Now, not one, but two other fun pieces of Oscar trivia when it comes to this movie. One is Walter Houston, nominated for the Best Actor Oscar, became the only person still to date to be nominated for an Academy Award for playing the devil. Like, that has never happened before or since. And then he only has 20 minutes of screen time, and he's in about 19% of the overall movie. Maybe because the devil is in the title, that makes him lead? I don't know. I mean, he was part of a family dynasty. He was father to John Huston, grandfather to Angelica Houston. Walter won his Oscar in Best Supporting Actor for The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, directed by his son, of course. And in this case, for The Devil and Daniel Webster at the Oscars, he probably should have been supporting also. Number 3, Best Actress, Deborah Carr, From Here to Eternity.
I know several kinds of waste, Sergeant. You're probably not even remotely aware of some of them. Would you like to hear?
This 1953 romance war drama was a juggernaut at the Oscars. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Frank Sinatra, Best Supporting Actress for Donna Reed. Now, Deborah Carr got into Best Actress even though she's only in 20 minutes of the movie. She's in about 17% of this narrative. She is in the movie virtually the same amount as Donna Reed, who won Supporting Actress. So when you look at it that way, it does get a little silly. I feel like if you're in Lead Actress, you should be in more of the movie than the person who wins Supporting Actress. Maybe that's just me. But the other thing about Deborah Carr is that she famously, of course, got 6 Oscar nominations, never won, and all 6 nominations were for Best Actress. She never got a Supporting Actress nomination, so it's almost like the Academy always looked at Deborah Carr as a leading lady, never a supporting one, and so no matter how few minutes of a movie she's in, Deborah Carr is being nominated for Best Actress. Number 2, Best Actress, Louise Fletcher, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Those are very challenging observations you made, Randall.
So, as Nurse Ratched in that incredible 1975 drama One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Louise Fletcher gives one of my favorite performances of the 1970s. She is so chilling in that film, so precise. You don't often see the evil in her really on the surface. She seems like a normal nurse at first, but as the movie goes on, you really start to learn what lurks beneath the surface, and it's kind of terrifying, right? This truly is a phenomenal villainous performance for the ages, and I would not have assumed she's only in 22 minutes of that movie. I mean, it's been a while since I watched it, but I would assume she's in like an hour of it. She's only in 22 minutes? That's kind of crazy. Even crazier, I would say, is that she's only in 16% of the narrative. 16%. That's it. At just 16%, Louise Fletcher in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest has the shortest percentage of screen time for a Best Actress Oscar win in history. And kind of like Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest just feels like a lead performance. Alright, and that takes me to the number 1 choice. This one is a doozy. Get ready. The number 1 most egregious example of category fraud in lead easily is Best Actor Spencer Tracy, San Francisco.
She'll be safe with Bernie, like. You see, she doesn't love him.
Okay, so this might not be as crazy as Tatum O'Neal winning Best Supporting Actress for being in virtually every moment of Paper Moon, but this one is pretty wild. In the 1936 musical drama disaster film San Francisco, Spencer Tracy at the Oscars was nominated in the Best Actor category for 14.98 minutes of screen time. He is in less than 15 minutes of this movie. He's only in 13% of the overall narrative, and he gets a Best Actor nomination. That is batshit crazy, if you ask me. Now, this did happen in the 1930s, and the Academy Awards were kind of all over the place that first decade. They were doing some wonky things, putting in categories, taking out categories. They were still finding their way. I would say it took until the 1940s until they really found their voice, really had a good base and structure. So part of me thought, oh, maybe supporting actor and supporting actress hadn't been implemented yet. The first few years of the ceremony, there was no supporting actor or supporting actress. But weirdly, the year that Spencer Tracy gets nominated in lead actor for San Francisco is the first year they have supporting actor and supporting actress. Spencer Tracy could have been nominated in supporting for about 15 minutes of screen time. He probably should have been nominated in supporting. I mean, he's already a big star by 1936. He's on the cusp of winning 2 back-to-back Best Actor trophies for Captains Courageous and Boys Town, so kind of like with Deborah Carr always getting into lead actress. Maybe the Academy in early 1937 was already looking at Spencer Tracy as a leading man, so even though he's barely in San Francisco, he gets the lead actor Oscar nomination. I don't know, pretty nuts, right? That is most definitely the #1 most egregious example of category fraud in lead at the Oscars. Best Actor Spencer Tracy, San Francisco. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below, what did you think of my picks for category fraud in lead? Is there anyone I left off the list? We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.